So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar presented by Worker Safety Support. The title of the webinar is Say Hello to AlertMedia with Employee Safety Monitoring. So I will be covering the upcoming transition from SafeSignal to the new and improved version named AlertMedia, which will launch on August 31st. So for today's presentation, I think everyone's cameras off as well as their microphones off, just to help since there are quite a lot of you in here. I know last presentation, some attendees were having issues with the videos I'll play throughout the webinar. So if you can't see or hear the videos or if they become laggy, just try to refresh your Teams application and then feel free to rejoin. If that doesn't work, just know that this webinar will be recorded and posted on our Worker Safety Support page on the intranet, so that way it can be viewed at any time. And then, of course, there will also be a designated time at the end for questions. So please write down any that you might have, and I will be able to address them at the end. And hopefully at that point, I can allow you all to turn on your camera and mics for questioning. Okay, so my name is Danielle Gutierrez, and I'm the Information Specialist for Worker Safety Support, as well as the previous SafeSignal Administrator, now AlertMedia Administrator for DFPS. Today, I'm also accompanied by our Director, Ms. Lindsay Tomlinson, and our Management Analyst, Mr. Marcus Levias, who will be monitoring the chat for this session and answering questions along the way. So just so you know a little bit about me, I've been with the agency since March. I'm housed in Region 10 in El Paso. My background spans broadcast television, media production, and digital marketing and advertising. So that being said, I also handle a lot of the marketing and communications for our program, Worker Safety Support. And as the AlertMedia Administrator, I'm going to be the one you can reach out to with any questions over training, general questions, account issues, anything. Just please never hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Okay. So thank you all for being here today. The objectives for this presentation will be to learn the differences and similarities between the SafeSignal and the AlertMedia app, understand what the AlertMedia app with employee safety monitoring is and why we use it, navigate the different features of the application, and of course, discuss any questions or concerns you all may have about the app. So really quickly, we'll go over the eligibility of the application because I know many people have asked about this. So policy states that you are to use any available safety technology, including AlertMedia, at all client interactions. So those who are eligible are DFPS employees who have direct contact with the children, youth, families, and adults we serve. So this includes, but is not limited to, caseworkers, supervisors, human service technicians, and employees involved with Child Watch. So as I said, this is not an exhaustive list, and you can always reach out to us to see if you are eligible for the app. So let's start off by defining the app our field workers already know, which is SafeSignal. It is an easy-to-use mobile app and monitoring system designed to get first responders to staff quickly. DFPS contracts with AlertMedia to provide the SafeSignal app to authorized users, and the app allows staff to set a session which is monitored 24/7 by a live person. So what is AlertMedia? I'm just going to start off by saying, please don't let this transition concern you, because to break it down simply, AlertMedia is going to be essentially the same app with all the same functionality, just a couple of newly added features. So AlertMedia with employee safety monitoring is also an easy-to-use app designed to get law enforcement to you quickly. It is monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by a live person. AlertMedia, in the same way SafeSignal did, also uses cellular signal to monitor your location during an active session. So what are the differences and what features are staying the same? So what is saying the same is that both applications have employee safety monitoring. They both have timer sessions available, and they both use the home screen panic button as well as the tether. Some new features of the app include the volume panic button, the threat intel map, and the communicate tab. And we will go over all of these new features in depth. So here we will go over the app in an AlertMedia crash course. Note that you will not have the app downloaded onto your state-issued cell phone until the end of this month. So you can follow along with the videos that show the app in use. I'm about to play them. However, do have your Safe Signal app on standby because any updates you might want to make during this presentation will transfer over to the new app. And of course, I'll walk you through that process. So just a quick app overview. These are the main tabs of AlertMedia. Here you can see the new interface, which is essentially the same, but it is more user-friendly. The main tabs will include the Threat Intel tab, the Communicate tab, Safety tab, and lastly, the Settings tab. Let's go over these in more detail. First, this video is a general overview of how the AlertMedia app will work when setting a session. It might be a refresher for a lot of you since it is very similar to Safe Signal, but it is good to review and know well. So if you can react by giving me a thumbs up if you hear the video fine. Again, if it's laggy for you or if it's not coming on correctly, try to refresh your Teams app and then log back in. Setting a session. An employee safety monitoring session is a hands-free safety tool that eliminates the hassle of changing hardware and user frustrations such as taking phone calls during a session, losing signal, or forgetting a tether. All you need to do is open your AlertMedia app and navigate to the Safety tab and hit Start Session. It will ask you whether you would like to use the timer or tether. For this exercise, we are going to use the timer. The next screen will ask you how much time you want to set the timer for. You can set a timer session for up to 12 hours at a time. Once you have chosen a time, hit Next. Saved location and notes. It is very important to put as much information as possible into the notes and observation box. This box is your direct connection to the people who are contacting law enforcement. Put information like apartment complex numbers, important information about the house, for example, if there are guns or gang activity, and any information that cannot be found in your profile. Once that is filled out, hit Next. Then enter your 4-digit personal code and your session will begin. Ending your session is simple. Go back to the Safety Monitoring tab, select End Timer Session, and enter your 4-digit personal code to end the session. So this is what the AlertMedia Monitoring Center sees when a session is activated. The profile will populate on a screen like this, and they will begin to track and monitor those pins you see in green and red. Because it is monitored by a cellular data, AlertMedia can be used while traveling, in homes with clients, and even while transporting children. We always tell the story of a caseworker who was transporting a child that got really unruly in the back of the car. The child even started kicking at the seat and grabbed for the steering wheel. And that caseworker hit her panic button, and law enforcement was able to meet her on the side of the highway. So that's just one example of how and when AlertMedia can be used. So this is the process of when an alarm is confirmed. So the user will get a confirmed alarm on their phone once they either pull the tether, hit the panic button, or when a timer expires. Then someone at AlertMedia will call law enforcement and say that they have a civil servant that's in duress and send patrol to their location as soon as possible. They're also going to provide the user's profile information so that way law enforcement can aid them better. And once it is confirmed that law enforcement is on the way, the monitoring center will then contact the user to see if they're okay. So I think a common misconception is that Alert Media contacts a user before they contact the authorities, but we just want to reiterate that the first step is always for the monitoring center to contact the authorities before anything else. So there can be three different scenarios when you call Alert Media. The first one is the confirmation, which is a confirmed alarm we just went over. The second one is a false alarm. And these happen way more than you may think. We get reports of false alarms close to every other day. We just had one, I think, last week around 3 a.m. So just know that you should not feel discouraged if this does happen. We'd rather you have a million false alarms than a staff member not use Alert Media. So if this happens, the monitoring center will call the user to ask for some profile questions, make sure they're safe, and turn their alarm off. And the third scenario is very important for supervisors to pay attention to, especially because if there is ever a case where a user's alarm is going off and the monitoring center is unable to locate them, Alert Media will first be contacting the supervisor that is listed for that user. So the reason they do this is basically to ask for the supervisor's assistance in helping find this worker. Maybe they know the location they went to or their personal cell if it's not listed. It just gives Alert Media a better chance of finding this user. If they're unable to contact the supervisor, then they will contact me as the Alert Media administrator. I'm again just serving as a liaison between the monitoring center and DFPS to find any contact information. And my first steps are to try to call the user and then call the supervisor before contacting an on-call PD. So most of the time we understand that this could be a false alarm, but we're never going to risk the chance that it's not. And Alert Media will also contact a user every 20 minutes if this happens. So a representative from the company just shared a story with us. They said that a user forgot to turn their timer off and left their phone at the office on a Friday evening, and Alert Media called every 20 minutes till that Monday morning, just trying to make contact with the user and trying to make sure that they're okay. So after Alert Media has closed the dispatch and the user has confirmed that law enforcement made it on scene, I will receive an email, which is, it looks like this. It's basically a wrap up of everything that happened on that dispatch. And depending on what the email says, usually if it's not a false alarm, we're going to follow up with the staff member and their supervisor. And these follow-ups are just a part of our mission at Worker Safety Support to make sure that everyone is okay, ensure whether or not an incident report should be made, and or if any resources need to be offered. So let's learn about the different ways to activate an alarm. So the biggest takeaway here, if you're not new to the app, is going to be the volume panic button. Panic button and volume panic button. The purpose of Alert Media with employee safety monitoring is to get law enforcement to a user quickly in a time of emergency. If you need law enforcement, hit the panic button. Once pressed, you will hear an audible beeping alarm.
Stop. Authorities have been notified.
That alarm will sound for 30 seconds, progressively getting faster. If you need to cancel the alarm, you can do so within the first 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, your screen will turn red. This means you have a confirmed alarm. Alert Media will contact law enforcement in order to send them to your location. To cancel the alarm, you must contact Alert Media after your screen turns red. In addition to pressing the panic button or pulling the tether, you can signal for law enforcement assistance by pressing up, down on your volume buttons located on the side of your state-issued cell phone. Doing this triggers an audible alarm and notifies Alert Media that you need assistance from law enforcement. Okay, so just in case you missed it, this is how you will trigger the volume panic button. You will hit up, down on the volume buttons on the side of your iPhone, and it will trigger an audible alarm. So note that you can only signal for help in this way if you are in an active timer session. To call for help outside of the session, you would need to use the in-app panic button. And also this alarm will be audible. So if you wanted it to be silenced, you would just have to turn the volume all the way down on your cell phone. So let's look at what happens when a timer expires and how to change the duration of your timer.
Timer expiration and change time. Remember, once your timer hits 0, you are indicating to the AlertMedia Monitoring Center that you need law enforcement immediately. 5 minutes prior to your timer expiring, AlertMedia will send push and text notifications to your phone every 30 seconds with audible beeps to remind you of the timer expiration. Once you've started a session, you can add or subtract time on your timer. If you need to increase or decrease the amount of time, hit the Change Time button. The time dial will appear. Then scroll to the amount of time you need and select Next. It will then prompt you for your 4-digit personal code. Once you have entered your code, it will automatically update your session.
Okay, so next is the Threat Intel Map, which is a new feature. With it, staff can get ahead of critical events and nearby threats that could impact their safety. So when out in the field, you can open the Threat Intel Map and survey the area you'll be visiting. And once you know that there are no active threats, then you can feel safe to start a timer session. So the map will show security incidents such as criminal activity, building evacuations, and active shooters, to name some. The disruptive events will show things like highway closures, power outages, and public transit closures. And the severe weather warnings will show watches and warnings, storms, flooding, and more. So let's play the video to learn more about this tab.
Real-time threat intelligence. Get ahead of critical events and nearby threats that could impact your safety with the Global Threat Intelligence Map. To locate this feature, find the Threat Intel tab. Once you open the tab, you will see a map that displays a circumference of your location. You can zoom in more closely to pinpoint the area you will be traveling to. By referring to this map, you can access information about security incidents, health and environment hazards, severe weather warnings, and disruptive events that could potentially affect your safety. To customize the map, you can access the filter bar located in the upper right corner of the screen and choose which threats you want to be shown.
So another added feature is going to be the Communicate tab. Just know that this isn't a section staff will have to worry too much about, but I'll play the video so we can learn how to navigate the tab.
Communicate tab. Navigate to the Communications tab and select the Notifications section. You will see past reminders of instances when your timer was set to expire. The Incoming Messages section will not display any information. Similarly, there will not be any information displayed under the Events tab unless you trigger your alarm and an incident report is made. You will also have access to the Send a Message button. You can use this feature to contact the AlertMedia administrators for questions or help with your AlertMedia account. The Send a Message feature should not be used if you are in danger or need immediate assistance. In emergency situations, you should hit your panic button or call 911.
So again, you won't really have to use this tab frequently. If you do find yourself needing to know a question and would prefer to reach the AlertMedia administration that way, you can always send us a question via the Send a Message button on the app. So next is the hostage code. It's one of the greatest features of AlertMedia. It provides the user an alternate way to send signal for help if they are in real danger. SafeSignal also had this feature, so I will go over it briefly. Just please don't practice this one unless you want law enforcement at your door soon. But to go over it, say a user is in a situation where they need law enforcement, but they're afraid that the audible alarm will make the aggressor angry or even escalate the situation, they can use the hostage code. So the code is going to be the same for everyone across the board. It's going to be 2580, which is a straight down line in the middle of the keypad, instead of the user's personal code. And law enforcement will be sent out in a hostage response mode. So they're not going to wait the 30 seconds that a regular confirmed alarm usually does. Instead, law enforcement will be sent out immediately. So this can also be used if the user triggers a regular audible alarm and the aggressor becomes angry and forces them to cancel it. A user can also use the hostage code to make it look like it's been canceled when really it hasn't. So they will go to shut off the alarm, then enter in this hostage code, and the alarm will shut off and even send a message that can be shown to the aggressor confirming a canceled alarm. But in reality, the monitoring center is dispatching a law enforcement in a hostage response. So let's go over updating your profile, which is extremely important for users to do. This is especially true when AlertMedia can't locate a user because their profile will provide additional information that can help the monitoring center locate them in event of a situation. So even just adding in your personal cell phone to this app will definitely help cut down on false alarms. So let's play the video.
Updating your profile. The information you enter into your profile allows the AlertMedia Monitoring Center to know who to contact within the department if you activate an alarm. To begin, make sure you don't have an active session open, then navigate to the Settings tab. Click on View Profile under your name in the top left-hand corner. There are a couple things that should always be updated under this section. First, make sure the mobile number is your state-issued work cell number. Add your personal mobile number under the Secondary Number tab. This helps us reach you in the event of a false alarm. Your supervisor's information, including their cell phone number and email address, should always be up to date and correct. Your supervisor is the first point of contact if we cannot locate you. This should always be updated. Your region should also be current. If you are in CPS regions 3 and 6, you should filter your region down to 3E or 3W or 6A and 6B, whichever applies to you. The profile asks for information concerning your vehicle. If you have to use AlertMedia safety monitoring and law enforcement is sent to your location and they spot the vehicle specified in your profile parked outside the establishment, it can be used as probable cause for law enforcement to enter the premises. Lastly, don't forget to hit the update button at the end.
So here I want to give everyone a few minutes to make sure their profile is up to date in their Safe Signal app, which you do have access to currently. So if you open up your application, it will look the same. It's going to have the 3 red lines in the top right corner. Click on those lines and navigate to where you see your name. Click on your name and your profile information will pop up. I recommend taking this time just to make sure everything is up to date and good to go for the AlertMedia rollout. Like I said earlier, all the information you update now will transfer over to the new app. So you can see that your state issued number is correct, your secondary mobile is your personal cell. Make sure your supervisor information is up to date. And all this information will transfer over. So let's watch the video about saving the AlertMedia contact.
Save AlertMedia contact. In the event your timer is activated, AlertMedia will contact you from the monitoring center number. You can find this number by navigating to the Settings tab and scrolling down to Support. Hit Call Monitoring Center and the number will pop up. Please add this number to your state-issued cell phone as well as your personal cell phone. If AlertMedia needs to get in contact with you, they will call you from this number.
So I will go ahead and pause it here on the number. You can also find this number in your Safe Signal app in the same section. Just hit those 3 red lines in the top right corner again, and you'll see the contact support. This is the same number. So I encourage everyone to save this number into their state-issued phone as well as their personal cell phone. I encourage this because say it's after hours and you get a call from this number, which is an 800 number, what is going to be your automatic thought? For me, I think I would think it's a scam call. I would not answer and I would maybe even block the number. But just know that if Alert Media is ever calling you, it's going to be for a good reason. So by saving the number, you'll know to answer the phone immediately. So next we'll learn about the Save Locations and Notes box. This is another feature from the Save Signal app. It just helps to set sessions more efficiently.
Save locations. To enter a saved location, go to the Settings tab, then hit Save Locations. To add a saved location, click the plus sign in the right-hand corner. Next, you will see a Locations and Notes section. Enter the information for the frequented location to include its address, the name of the place, and any notes and observations needed for the location. When you activate a session, you will be prompted to the Location and Notes page. Click the drop-down menu under Confirm Address and find your saved location under its name. Remember, you will only see a drop-down menu if you have previously added a saved location. Choose the location you want to add, and it will autofill all your entered information. If any of that information has changed, remember, you can still add any notes in the box below. Then you can continue to set your session.
Okay. So the notes box is going to be your direct connection to the person who would be getting you law enforcement in the case of an emergency. The idea is to give them as much information as possible. So if you've ever started a session on Safe Signal, you should be pretty familiar with this section. You can add in rental car information if you're driving a rental car, apartment numbers, room numbers if you're in a building, any outstanding information about your clients. Are there weapons in the house, dangerous animals, gang activity? Let the monitoring center know in this section. Also, if you're a supervisor, make sure to update your staff when you're off so that way they can maybe provide an alternate number to call in case of an emergency in this section. And also, if you add your vehicle details in the notes section and law enforcement is called and they see your car on scene, that gives them probable cause to enter wherever it is that you're at. So next, this is very important to note that if a phone shuts off or dies during a session, or if it is run over by a car, anything that happens to your physical cell phone, if you have a session running, will not matter. So the session will stay open at the monitoring center. If your phone dies, which is the most common reason, just try to get your phone turned back on as soon as possible and check to see if the monitoring center has texted you or called, because if your timer expires, they will try to contact you. So just know that you have to call them back to confirm you're okay. And if your timer hasn't expired, then just deactivate the session. But it is your responsibility to call the monitoring center and let them know that you're okay if your alarm was accidentally triggered. And so if you don't have your state issued phone on you, or if you can't get it to power, this is why I tell everyone to save the monitoring center to their personal cell as well, because then you can use your personal cell, which I know I always have on me and it's always charged, to call the monitoring center and ask them to turn your session off for you before law enforcement comes looking for you. So what does everyone need to know as far as this transition goes? So after August 31st, the name Safe Signal will no longer be used. All the previous Safe Signal courses will be updated. And if you need the new course numbers to update any material you have, contact me and I will be sure to get that information to you. Note that you will not have to retake the course or re-register if you already have a Safe Signal account. I know I see some of you in the chat are maybe having issues with logging into your account. Just send an email to our Safe Signal help inbox and we'll be sure to get your account running soon. And then the training process and the registration will all be the same. It will just be updated. So beginning September 1st, you will find the AlertMedia app already downloaded onto your state-issued cell phone. So you won't have to worry about downloading it, looking it up, finding it on the App Store. It will just appear on your cell phone. So then when you open the app, it will ask you to sign in using the exact same credentials you had for SafeSignal. So this, again, would be a great time for you to figure it out, your login, if maybe you're unsure about it. You can reset your password right now on the SafeSignal app. And if you don't know it or need help, just email our inbox and we can help you with your credentials. Then it will probably ask you if you'd like to use Face ID. I recommend doing this because it is the easiest and the most secure way to sign in. And then after that, you'll see an introduction page, which I'm about to show you. So the AlertMedia app will walk you through a quick introduction. The most important thing is to make sure that your location services are on, because if you skip this step, then the app is essentially useless. This is the only way the monitoring center will be able to track you in case of an emergency and find your location. So this is the first thing that will actually pop up when you open the app. You're gonna click allow while using app. And if for some reason you accidentally hit no, again, just reach out to us and we can help walk you through and edit your location preferences in settings. This is just a continuation of the introduction, which basically just explains all the features we went over. And lastly, also make sure to turn on notifications. So that way, if you get any critical alerts from the app, then it will be sent to you. And then you will set your personal code again. So please, please, please just make sure you remember this code, as it will be used to set every session from then on. And then after that, you'll be all set to go. So to find out more about worker safety and AlertMedia, you can visit us on the Worker Safety Support page on the intranet. We're located under the Health and Safety tab. So once here, you can find out information on how to report a threat. We also have a SafeSignal support page that will be updated very soon with the AlertMedia content. And this webinar recording will also be made available on our intranet page under Need Trainings, Safety Webinars. So we have a whole tab where you can find all of our past worker safety support webinars, and you can feel free to share the recording with anyone who might not have been able to make it today. And the worker safety support team is available to come to your unit meetings, all staffs, resource fairs, etc. You can take a picture of this if you need to. But we have specific trainings to include protecting your information online, AlertMedia crash courses, personal safety, and so much more. So reach out to your safety program specialist or the emails on the screen for any information. You can also message the worker safety support inbox, or now it's going to change to the AlertMedia help inbox. For now, you can still use the SafeSignal inbox, but in the near future, we'll be changing over to the AlertMedia help inbox, and all of those emails will be directed to there. So now it is time to answer any questions. If you do have a question, you can go ahead and type it in the chat, and I will be happy to answer anything. I'm also gonna give access to microphones now and cameras. So if you do want to raise your hand and ask a question, we could do it that way too.
Hey, Danielle. So we have a question. It says, will the 5-minute warning alert be out loud if the phone is on vibrate?
If the phone is on vibrate, then it won't be. So just depending on how you set your phone volume is going to depend on how you're going to hear everything. So if you want everything to be silent, you can turn your volume all the way down and everything will be silenced. But if you do want to hear your reminders, you will have to turn it up. It will vibrate. It just won't beep. Yes, so I think you will still have the SafeSignal app. Someone asked, so if we have SafeSignal, will it change to the AlertMedia on its own? The SafeSignal app might still stay on your phone, but the AlertMedia app will pop up separately, and you'll have to log in through that app and use it from then on. And then I'm sure eventually in the future, Safe Signal will come off of our phones.
We had a question about the alarm using the same voice message as it previously was. That's correct.
The voice message?
Yeah. Are they going to stay the same from Safe Signal to
Oh,
Alert
yes.
Media?
Mm-hmm.
If you need to reset your password, is there a link sent via email or text?
It should send to your email. Some people have trouble with their password reset, but again, if you are having trouble logging in, just email me and I'll go look into your account and see what the issue is and how to help you. Some people have issues receiving the reset password, but I can help you get there if you email our inbox.
Will the Alert Media app be a new app or will the app just change the name?
It will be a whole new app onto your phone. And the name will be changed as well.
Someone asked, you have the Safe Signal app and not the Alert Media app. You should get a push from IT the night of the 31st of August, and then 1 September you should have the new app. Some people may wake up and not have the new app September 1st because they're tiering the rollout. It does take a little bit of time. I think it took our team about 6 hours for everyone to get it. So if you don't have it first thing in the morning on September 1st, just be patient. It should be rolling out.
And if, of course, if anything is subject to change, I'll be sending out, most of you here have probably been receiving my communication emails just about this whole transition. So I'm going to send one last one on the 31st. If anything has changed, I will definitely let you all know in that email.
I got a good question, Danielle. If you're working remotely and your supervisor is in another region, which do you put in under your profile division?
It will still be your supervisor information. They should have all of your information on file. So whether that's your personal cell phone, if it's not listed, or they should even know where you last were, your last location was. So they are going to be the first point of contact for you.
Let me jump in. Are they asking what they label as their region identification for their account?
Yes.
Or theirs? So you'll label the region that you are assigned to as the user. If it asks for your supervisor in their region, then you'll want to put your supervisor's region. But I believe they just ask for the region that you're connected to.
For those that are having issues logging in right now to tell you to reset your password, please send an email to the Safe Signal help and we'll have to go through that individually and get them reset for you. What if supervisor is on FMLA and you have a substitute supervisor? Who will you put?
That's why it's important to put that in your notes box whenever you start a session. You could put that information in your profile and switch it back when your supervisor returns. Either way, just letting the monitoring center know who to contact in case of an emergency.
We're having some password reset issues. Again, Rudy and Jose, just send an email to Safe Signal Help at dfps.texas.gov. I'll put it in the chat.
Yes, thank you.
And for those who have been sending emails, we are receiving them. My laptop is singing the song of its people as the emails roll in. So we'll address those one by one. We did get about 30, so please be patient with us. If we have our vehicle information in our profile, do we also have to include in the notes for an active session to be trackable?
If it's stated in your profile and that's the vehicle that you're driving, then no. That you would only put it in the notes section if you're driving a different vehicle that's not stated in your profile.
So, Edward, to answer your question, if you do pick up a rental, you do need to put that in the notes section. Just because it's something temporary, unless you want to go back and keep changing the information that's saved in your profile. And If we know our password, we will use the same one for alert. So when you go into AlertMedia, yes, you're going to use the same password. The only thing it's going to ask you to reset is your 4-digit PIN.
So it'll
And
be
you
the
could use,
exact same credentials.
yeah, and you could put a new PIN if you want, or you could use the same one. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It's just that 4-digit PIN.
Alrighty, I think I'm going to move forward with the survey. If you all have any additional questions, again, feel free to reach out to me personally or to the help inbox. I'm always happy to answer any. But lastly, please take the survey and let me know how I did. It just helps me improve for any future sessions. You can go ahead and scan it with your phone, and it should pop up. It's a quick survey, and I'll leave this up here on the screen for a minute just to let you all do that. But other than that, that's all I have for you all today. Thank you for your time and thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate it.